And you're looking at a scene of the kotel, which is a Hebrew word for meaning wall, and you're looking at the western wall. It's the retaining wall of the second Jewish temple that was built by, well, Zerubbabel.
It's one of the most sacred sites on earth, but beneath the Temple Mount lies a mystery so shocking. I may have just rewritten history. For millennia, the Temple Mount in Jerusalem has been a place of worship, legend, and controversy. It's one of the holiest and most contested pieces of land on earth. But while historians and archaeologists have studied its surface endlessly, the true secrets may lie hidden underground. Now, artificial intelligence has revealed findings beneath the Temple Mount that shocked scientists, raising questions about history, faith, and mysteries buried for thousands of years. Stay with me until the end, because what AI uncovered is more than just archaeology. It could rewrite the very foundations of human history, the Forbidden Mountain. A massive stone platform sitting above Jerusalem, holding some of the world's most important religious sites. The Temple Mount, known as Haram al-Sharif in Arabic, covers about 35 acres and rises majestically above the ancient city like a fortress frozen in time.
It's known as both Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary, and Temple Mount. For decades, it's been a flashpoint between Israelis and Palestinians.
We're talking about one of the most politically sensitive and religiously significant locations on Earth. But here's where things get really interesting. What we see on the surface is just the tip of an incredible archaeological iceberg. Imagine standing on this platform, knowing that beneath your feet lies layer upon layer of human history stretching back over 3,000 years. Kings and emperors, priests and prophets, conquerors and defenders have all walked these stones, leaving behind traces of their existence in the depths below. The sheer complexity of this site is staggering. Jews consider it the holiest place on earth, the location where Abraham nearly sacrificed Isaac and where both the first and second temples once stood. Muslims revere it as the third holiest site in Islam, home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, marking the spot where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. Christians see it as the place where Jesus taught and where many pivotal biblical events unfolded. For decades, excavating directly on the Temple Mount has been nearly impossible due to its extreme religious sensitivity. 3 major world religions consider this ground sacred, making any digging a political and religious minefield that could potentially ignite international conflicts. The slightest archaeological activity requires approval from multiple religious authorities, government agencies, and international bodies, a process so complex that it rarely results in permission being granted. But scientists have found clever ways around these restrictions, and what they've discovered using modern technology is absolutely mind-blowing. Instead of digging down, they're using sophisticated scanning techniques to peer through solid rock and ancient foundations. It's like having X-ray vision that can see through thousands of years of accumulated history. The question that keeps archaeologists awake at night is simple, yet profound. What treasures and secrets are buried beneath thousands of years of history? Recent discoveries are providing answers that nobody saw coming, and they're forcing us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about ancient Jerusalem and the biblical world. The AI revolution in archaeology. Here's where our story takes a fascinating turn into the realm of science fiction, becoming science fact. We're living in an era where artificial intelligence is revolutionizing how we explore the past, giving us superpowers that would make Indiana Jones jealous. Ground-penetrating radar combined with AI analysis can detect hollow spaces, tunnels, and buried structures with incredible precision. We're talking about accuracy levels that can spot objects just inches beneath the surface or massive chambers dozens of feet underground. These computer systems can process thousands of data points in seconds, identifying patterns that even the most experienced human archaeologist might miss after years of study. But it gets even more impressive. These AI systems learn and adapt. Machine learning algorithms can analyze the electromagnetic signatures of different materials, distinguishing between natural rock formations and human-made structures. They can identify the difference between solid stone, hollow chambers, metal objects, organic materials, and even different types of pottery based on their unique electronic fingerprints. The technology works by sending radio waves deep into the ground and measuring how they bounce back. Different materials reflect these waves in distinctive ways. A hollow chamber creates one pattern, solid bedrock another, and buried artifacts each have their own unique signatures. When AI processes these reflections, it creates incredibly detailed 3D maps showing exactly what lies beneath the surface. Recent AI-assisted surveys around the Temple Mount area have revealed a network of underground passages and chambers that's far more extensive than anyone imagined. We're not talking about a few random tunnels here and there. We're looking at what appears to be a sophisticated underground infrastructure that rivals modern subway systems in complexity. Some of these discoveries are so significant that researchers are calling them game changers for our understanding of ancient Jerusalem. The AI has detected chambers large enough to hold hundreds of people, tunnels that stretch for incredible distances, and connection points between different underground systems that suggest ancient Jerusalem had a hidden world beneath the visible city. But what exactly are these AI systems finding down there? The answers are more shocking than you might think, and they're forcing archaeologists to completely reimagine what ancient civilizations were capable of achieving. Warren's hidden world. Let's travel back to the 1860s when a British Army officer named Charles Warren made some of the first major underground discoveries near the Temple Mount. Warren was a military engineer investigating the water systems beneath Jerusalem for the British government. Little did he know that his practical mission would uncover one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 19th century. What Warren found was absolutely mind-boggling. A massive network of tunnels and chambers carved directly into the solid bedrock beneath Jerusalem. These weren't simple caves or natural formations. They were sophisticated, engineered passages with carefully carved walls, precisely angled slopes for drainage, and construction techniques that demonstrated remarkable ancient engineering skills. Warren discovered tunnels tall enough for a person to walk through comfortably, some stretching for hundreds of feet in multiple directions. The craftsmanship was extraordinary. Smooth walls carved with precision, drainage channels to prevent flooding, and support structures that had kept these passages stable for thousands of years. It was like finding a hidden highway system beneath the ancient city. One particular passage, now called Warren's Gate, led directly to a magnificent staircase that once provided access to the ancient temple itself. This was a monumental construction with massive stone steps, each one carefully carved and positioned. Standing in this tunnel today, visitors can literally walk the same path that ancient pilgrims and priests used to approach the temple over 2 millennia ago. Warren also discovered what appeared to be a sophisticated water management system, with channels and cisterns designed to collect, store, and distribute water throughout the temple complex. The engineering was so advanced that it continued to function effectively, even after centuries of abandonment. But here's the kicker. Warren barely scratched the surface of what was really down there. His exploration was limited by the technology and techniques available in the 1860s. He had oil lamps, basic surveying equipment, and incredible courage, but no way to see beyond the passages he could physically explore. Modern technology is now revealing that his discoveries were just a tiny fraction of what lies beneath. AI mapping has shown that the underground network extends far beyond what Warren ever imagined, with some passages stretching for hundreds of meters in multiple directions, connecting areas of the city that seem completely separate from the surface. The real question is, who built these elaborate underground systems, and why? The answers are starting to emerge, and they're painting a picture of ancient Jerusalem as a city with hidden depths that rival anything in modern urban planning. The Temple Sifting Project Revolution. Now, here's where things get really exciting and ingenious. Since direct excavation on the Temple Mount is restricted, archaeologists had to get creative. Enter the Temple Mount Sifting Project, one of the most brilliant and innovative archaeological operations ever conceived. This project represents a complete revolution in how we approach archaeology in sensitive areas. Here's the fascinating story of how it works. Any dirt removed from the Temple Mount for construction, maintenance, or emergency repairs gets carefully collected and transported to a special archaeological site in the Emek Tzurim National Park. What might seem like ordinary soil to most people is actually a treasure trove of historical information waiting to be discovered. The process itself is meticulous and thorough. Volunteers and experts carefully sift through every single grain of this dirt using fine mesh screens, water flotation techniques, and magnifying equipment. They're looking for anything that might be historically significant. Pottery fragments no bigger than a coin, ancient nails, pieces of jewelry, coins, inscriptions, architectural elements, and organic materials like seeds or bones. It sounds simple, but this process has yielded some of the most important biblical-era artifacts ever discovered. We're talking about findings that are literally rewriting textbooks and confirming historical accounts that scholars debated for centuries. The sheer volume of discoveries is staggering. Over 4.5 tons of artifacts have been recovered from just a few tons of sifted soil. The findings span an incredible range of historical periods. Archaeologists have recovered thousands of artifacts dating from the First Temple period, around 1000 BCE, all the way to modern times. Ancient coins bearing the names of biblical kings, pottery fragments with Hebrew inscriptions, rare seals and bullae, clay seal impressions, pieces of ancient glass vessels, and architectural fragments that once adorned the temples themselves. But perhaps the most exciting discovery came when AI analysis was applied to the patterns of these findings. This is where technology really shines, by mapping where certain artifacts were found in the sifted soil and using computer modeling to analyze their original positions. Researchers could trace these objects back to their likely original locations on the Temple Mount itself. This reverse engineering approach is revealing the locations of ancient structures that nobody knew existed. It's like solving a massive 3D puzzle where each tiny artifact fragment provides a clue about where ancient buildings, courtyards, and ceremonial areas once stood. The AI can analyze patterns in artifact distribution, identifying clusters that suggest specific activity areas, places where ceremonies were performed, where people gathered, where administrative activities took place. The project has also revealed fascinating details about daily life in ancient Jerusalem. Seeds and plant remains show what people were eating, pottery fragments reveal trade connections with distant lands, and personal items, like jewelry and cosmetic implements, provide intimate glimpses into the lives of individuals who lived and worked on the Temple Mount thousands of years ago. The first temple breakthrough. Hold on to your hats, because this next discovery is absolutely huge and represents one of the most significant archaeological breakthroughs of the 21st century. In 2016, archaeologists announced something that sent shockwaves through the archaeological world and made headlines in newspapers around the globe. The first ever artifacts definitively dated to the First Temple period found on the Temple Mount itself. For decades, this was the holy grail of biblical archaeology. The first temple, supposedly built by King Solomon around 960 BCE and destroyed by the Babylonians in 586 BCE, was one of the most important structures in human history, according to biblical accounts. But despite its legendary status, concrete archaeological evidence for its existence had been frustratingly elusive. The breakthrough came through the Temple Mount Sifting project when researchers discovered olive pits, animal bones, and pottery fragments that radiocarbon dating definitively placed in the 8th and 6th centuries BCE, exactly the time period when historical sources describe the first temple as standing on this very spot. These weren't just random artifacts. They showed signs of being associated with temple activities and religious ceremonies. The olive pits were particularly significant because they showed evidence of having been burned in what appeared to be sacrificial contexts. Ancient texts describe elaborate temple ceremonies involving burnt offerings, and these physical remains provide the first tangible evidence that such activities actually took place on the Temple Mount during the First Temple period. For years, skeptics questioned whether the biblical accounts of the First Temple were historically accurate or merely religious mythology. Some scholars argued that the descriptions of Solomon's temple were exaggerated or completely fictional, written centuries after the supposed events. These discoveries are providing the first concrete evidence that major religious and ceremonial activity was indeed taking place on the Temple Mount during this crucial period in biblical history. But here's where AI comes into play again, taking these discoveries to the next level. Computer analysis of these artifacts, combined with underground mapping and pattern recognition, is helping researchers piece together the layout and function of ancient structures with unprecedented accuracy. The AI can analyze pottery styles, construction techniques, and artifact distribution patterns to create incredibly detailed reconstructions of what the Temple Mount looked like 2,500 years ago. The artificial intelligence systems can compare these newly discovered artifacts with similar items found at other archaeological sites throughout Israel and the Middle East, identifying connections and trade relationships that reveal how the First Temple fit into the broader ancient world. This analysis is showing that the temple wasn't just a local religious center. It was connected to a vast network of trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange that stretched across the ancient Near East. Perhaps most remarkably, AI analysis is helping researchers understand the destruction of the First Temple. By studying burn patterns on pottery fragments, the distribution of destruction debris, and the types of artifacts found together, computer models can reconstruct the events of 586 BCE, when the Babylonian army destroyed Jerusalem and its temple. The implications are enormous and far-reaching. We might finally be getting our first scientific glimpse of one of history's most legendary buildings. And the evidence is confirming that the biblical accounts contain genuine historical information rather than pure religious mythology. The underground network revealed. Recent AI-assisted ground surveys have revealed something that's leaving even the most experienced archaeologists absolutely stunned and speechless. The underground network beneath the Temple Mount is far more complex, extensive, and sophisticated than anyone ever imagined possible. We're looking at what appears to be a meticulously planned underground city that rivals modern urban infrastructure in its complexity and engineering sophistication. The AI mapping shows multiple distinct levels of tunnels, chambers, and passages, creating a three-dimensional maze that extends deep into the bedrock beneath Jerusalem. Some tunnels run directly under the sacred platform of the Temple Mount itself, while others extend far beyond the visible boundaries, connecting to underground networks throughout the Old City and beyond. What's particularly fascinating is that these underground systems show different construction techniques and architectural styles from different historical periods. It's like reading a book written over thousands of years, with each generation adding its own chapters to this subterranean story. Some sections appear to have been carved during the Second Temple period, around 500 BCE to 70 CE, featuring the sophisticated stonework and engineering techniques associated with Herodian construction. Other passages show cruder but still impressive workmanship that might date back even further, possibly to the First Temple period or even earlier. The variety of underground structures is remarkable. AI analysis has identified what appear to be storage chambers, some large enough to hold massive quantities of grain, oil, or other supplies. There are passages that seem designed for water management, with carefully engineered drainage systems and channels that could direct rainwater throughout the complex. Some tunnels appear to be designed for movement and transportation, wide enough for people, and perhaps even animals to move through comfortably. But perhaps most intriguingly, the AII has detected numerous chambers and spaces that don't seem to fit any obvious practical purpose. These mysterious rooms vary greatly in size. Some are small and intimate, perhaps designed for private meetings or storage of valuable items, while others are enormous spaces that could potentially hold hundreds of people. What were these spaces used for? The possibilities range from emergency shelters during times of siege to secret meeting places for religious or political activities. The connection patterns revealed by AI analysis are equally fascinating. The underground network is an integrated system where different passages connect and intersect in ways that suggest careful planning and design. Some connections link areas that seem completely separate from the surface, allowing for hidden movement throughout ancient Jerusalem. What's really getting scientists excited is that some of these AI-detected chambers are large enough and positioned in ways that suggest they might house significant structures, collections of artifacts, or even architectural elements from the ancient temples themselves. Historical sources mention that valuable temple items were sometimes hidden during times of war or persecution. Could some of these underground chambers contain such treasures? The Western Wall, tunnels connection.
I just got here to the Kotel, also known as the Western Wall, which has over 2,000 years of history and some hidden parts that we're going to go check out right now. Let's go take a look at the Western Wall tunnels.
Now let's talk about one of the most accessible and well-documented parts of this underground world, the Western Wall tunnels, which provide incredible insights into the scope and sophistication of the Temple Mount's underground network. These passages represent one of the few places where visitors can actually walk through part of ancient Jerusalem's hidden infrastructure and experience firsthand the engineering marvels that lie beneath the modern city. The tunnels follow the ancient street level from 2,000 years ago, running beneath what's now the busy Western Wall Plaza. This is a journey through time that allows modern visitors to walk the same paths used by ancient Jerusalem's inhabitants during the height of the Second Temple period. Inside these tunnels, visitors encounter some of the most impressive ancient construction work ever discovered. The massive stone blocks that form the foundation of Herod's temple expansion are absolutely breathtaking in their size and precision. We're talking about stones that would challenge modern construction equipment, some weighing hundreds of tons, quarried from sites miles away, transported through the hilly terrain of Jerusalem, and positioned with incredible accuracy. One particular stone, called the Western Stone, measures an incredible 45 feet long, 15 feet wide, and 12 feet high, weighing an estimated 600 tons. To put that in perspective, this single stone weighs more than 300 modern cars combined. It ranks as one of the heaviest objects ever moved and positioned by humans without powered machinery. The precision with which it was cut and placed is remarkable. The joints between stones are so tight that you can barely slide a piece of paper between them. But the engineering achievements go far beyond just moving big rocks. The tunnels reveal sophisticated drainage systems designed to manage water flow during Jerusalem's rainy season. Ancient engineers carved channels and pipes directly into the bedrock, creating a water management system that continued to function effectively for centuries after the temple's destruction. Archaeological discoveries within the Western Wall tunnels have provided fascinating glimpses into daily life in ancient Jerusalem. Pottery fragments, coins, and personal items found in these passages tell stories of the thousands of people who used these underground routes. Some areas show evidence of having been shops or workshops where craftsmen produced goods for the temple and the city's residents. But here's where it gets really interesting from our modern perspective. AI analysis of the Western Wall tunnels has revealed connection points to other underground passages that extend far beyond the currently accessible areas. These computer models suggest that the Western Wall tunnels are just one visible part of a much larger underground network that extends throughout the Temple Mount area and beyond. Recent discoveries have shown that these tunnels connect to ancient drainage systems that could channel water from the temple courtyards all the way to valleys outside the city. They also appear to connect to storage chambers, where massive quantities of supplies could be kept, and possibly even to escape routes that were used during the Roman siege of Jerusalem in 70 CE. Ground-penetrating radar has detected what appear to be sealed passages branching off from the known tunnels, leading to areas that haven't been explored in modern times. Some of these passages seem to head directly toward the center of the Temple Mount, while others extend toward different parts of the Old City. The more we explore and analyze these underground spaces, the more we realize that ancient Jerusalem was truly like an iceberg, with most of its important infrastructure, storage, and possibly even living spaces hidden below the visible surface. The mysterious cisterns and chambers. Beneath the Temple Mount lies a hidden world of vast underground cisterns that are rewriting our understanding of ancient Jerusalem's engineering and urban planning. These chambers, originally designed to collect and store rainwater for the temple complex, are monumental in scale. The largest, called the Great Sea, could hold over 2 million gallons of water, enough to sustain a city of 50,000 people for months. Their sheer size raises questions that go far beyond simple water storage, hinting at purposes still cloaked in mystery. The labor and skill required to carve these immense spaces out of solid bedrock is almost unimaginable, suggesting that the builders had motives beyond meeting practical water needs. Historical accounts tell of temple treasures being hidden during invasions, and some researchers now speculate that these colossal cisterns may have doubled as secure vaults for sacred objects, documents, or valuable artifacts. If so, these underground spaces might have played a pivotal role in safeguarding Jerusalem's spiritual and cultural heritage during times of crisis. AI mapping has revealed that many cisterns are interconnected through a vast network of tunnels and passages, some large enough to allow groups of people to move through them. These subterranean routes feature steps, ventilation shafts, and alcoves that suggest regular human use, perhaps for transport, storage, or even refuge. This network would have allowed people to traverse the Temple Mount complex unseen from the surface, functioning as a hidden infrastructure for both water and covert activity. What makes the system even more fascinating is evidence that it was constructed and modified over multiple generations. Subtle differences in techniques and materials reveal an evolving network, each era layering new adaptations onto the old. Within these chambers, archaeologists have found pottery shards, tools, and organic remains, evidence that the cisterns once served as workshops, meeting places, storage areas, and even emergency shelters. Together, these discoveries suggest that beneath the Temple Mount lies not just a water system, but a multi-purpose underground city that reflects the resilience, ingenuity, and adaptability of ancient Jerusalem. The City of David connection. The City of David, just south of the Temple Mount, has become the focal point of some of the most astonishing archaeological breakthroughs in recent years. Long believed to be the birthplace of ancient Jerusalem and King David's capital.
But that wasn't there with the City of David. You're talking less than 3,000 people. And so really with the City of David, you have this seed of Israel starting as a nation and growing out from its capital.
This area is now revealing a sophisticated underground network that directly links to the Temple Mount. AI-assisted excavations and ground-penetrating radar have confirmed the existence of hidden tunnels and channels, proving that ancient Jerusalem was designed as an integrated urban system with extraordinary foresight. One of the most striking discoveries came in 2023, when archaeologists uncovered 2,800-year-old channels carved into bedrock. While they first appeared to be water management systems, complete with gradients, junctions, and maintenance access points, AI analysis has shown that these channels likely had multiple functions. Beyond carrying water, their scale and design suggest they were also used as escape routes, hidden passageways for goods, or even covert entrances to the Temple Mount. The level of engineering reveals a dual-purpose infrastructure that served both civilian life and military strategy. Adding to the intrigue, researchers identified evidence of a massive moat that once divided ancient Jerusalem, separating the Temple Mount and palace areas from the rest of the city. This formidable trench, cut straight into bedrock, was a nearly impenetrable defense structure. Yet AI mapping revealed something even more remarkable: tunnels running directly beneath the moat, functioning like a secret ancient subway. These underground passages, equipped with ventilation, drainage, and storage alcoves, allowed for secure and invisible movement between fortified and unfortified zones during sieges, demonstrating tactical planning centuries ahead of its time. Artifacts found inside these tunnels, including pottery fragments and remains from different eras, suggest they were repeatedly used during key historical events, such as the Babylonian conquest of 586 BCE and the Roman siege of 70 CE. AI acoustic studies also hint at sophisticated communication systems within these networks, with chambers designed to carry sound across distances, possibly serving as listening posts or command centers. Altogether, these findings reveal that ancient Jerusalem's planners were not only builders of monumental surface architecture, but also masters of subterranean engineering, creating one of the most advanced integrated defense and communication systems of the ancient world. The artifacts that rewrote history. The Temple Mount Sifting project has uncovered discoveries that are transforming our understanding of ancient Jerusalem, bridging gaps between sacred texts and material evidence. Artifacts once thought impossible to find are now providing tangible proof of activities described in biblical accounts, forcing historians to reconsider long-standing narratives. Each discovery, whether small or monumental, adds depth to the story of the Temple Mount as both a spiritual and administrative hub. Among the most groundbreaking finds is a clay seal impression inscribed with the Hebrew name Yedaiah, son of Asayahu. This tiny object offers direct proof of bureaucratic activity at the Temple Mount, highlighting its role as a center of governance during the First Temple period. The linguistic and cultural patterns encoded in the inscription perfectly align with what scholars already knew about Hebrew traditions of the time. And AI analysis has further sharpened our understanding of how Jerusalem's administrative systems functioned in antiquity. Equally revealing are the coins unearthed, spanning multiple periods of Jerusalem's history, from Jewish independence to foreign rule, and even unique coins minted for temple rituals. The most striking are coins from the Great Revolt against Rome, inscribed with declarations like "Freedom of Zion." Their presence on the Mount underscores its enduring role as a stronghold of Jewish identity and resistance up to the Roman destruction in 70 CE. Meanwhile, AI-driven chemical analyses of pottery and other artifacts are exposing vast trade networks that connected Jerusalem with Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, Phoenicia, Cyprus, and beyond, proving the city was a cosmopolitan hub at the crossroads of civilizations. Finally, AI-powered pattern recognition has enabled archaeologists to digitally reassemble broken artifacts scattered across centuries, restoring ancient vessels, inscribed stones, and architectural fragments that illuminate daily life, temple ceremonies, and construction techniques. Organic remains like seeds and animal bones add further layers, revealing dietary habits, agricultural practices, and sacrificial systems. Together, these findings paint a vivid picture of Jerusalem as a thriving urban, political, and cultural powerhouse whose influence extended across the ancient world. From AI-assisted mapping, revealing vast underground networks, to tiny artifacts providing direct links to biblical times, the Temple Mount continues to surprise us with discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient Jerusalem. The combination of latest technology and meticulous archaeological work is literally rewriting the history books, one discovery at a time. These underground mysteries remind us that our world still holds countless secrets waiting to be discovered. The more we look beneath the surface, the more we realize how much we still don't know about our own past. What do you think lies in those unexplored chambers beneath the Temple Mount? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.